Hey everyone, Brian Harrington here. I'm here with three of my great friends and actually dad, Kevin Harrington. And you guys are going to see us. We're going to be doing a cool series where we talk about and interview and talk with and hang out with some of our great partners and friends and talk about business life and just have some fun. So we're here with Brandon T. Adams and Dave Folk. Brandon is a partner of ours in a lot of different ventures. And Dave is as well a partner of ours on a lot of different ventures, and all both amazing dear friends. Most importantly, Dave is also the owner of Reputation Rhino, reputationrhino.com. And today we want to talk a little bit more about like online reputation management. Talk about Reputation Rhino. Just talk about marketing and what online reputation management is, and just a general course of what Rep Rhino does as well. So Dave, welcome. How you doing today?
Brian, man, thanks for having me. Yeah, the online reputation management, a lot of people that are listening to this right now are going, what? And I think that's what we're here to talk a little bit about today is what is it and why should you care about it?
Yeah.
Well, Dave, it's funny because as a consumer, I go to people's websites and then you see the replies underneath and some I see negative, and I'm saying to myself, wow, I'm not going to go to that place for business, and they don't realize all that stuff exists, and that's really ultimately what the reputation world and Reputation Rhino is all about is helping people kind of clean up what's online that you might not even know about. I mean, it's crazy. People leave stars, 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 5 stars. A lot of people like to leave, nasty comments along the way too, right?
Yeah, being a Midwesterner, when I grew up, they taught you how to introduce yourself when you met somebody in person. You looked them in the eye, you shook their hand, right? Those types of stuff. Well, unfortunately, the handshake has been replaced by the Google search, and nobody's teaching us how to make a good first impression online. And that's what we're here to do, because realistically, that's what people are doing. I guarantee everybody that's listening to this call, we've all done it. You go to Google and you search something up. What restaurant do you want to eat at? Who you're going to do business with, where you're going to spend your money. And if you see stuff like that, Kevin, you don't get a good first impression. You just scratch them off the list and you move on.
Now, Dave, I don't know the stats on this, but it seems like that if anyone has anything to say about a company, a brand, a person, whatever it may be, most of the reviews are bad reviews, not good reviews, right? What percentage of people like leave bad versus good reviews, and how does that work?
Well, I guess that depends on what kind of company you are. Right. If you're doing good work, providing good service, you're probably going to get good reviews. If you're not, it's probably going to be the opposite of that. But even if you got a lot of good reviews, we're negative by nature, right? When we pull up to a traffic light, we don't call it a traffic light. We call it a stoplight. We count how many stoplights we had to stop at, not how many green lights we got to go through. And so that's what we do is we try and find the dirt on people. We want to read that 1 star and we skip over 20 good ones and we read that 1 negative. And, 5.6 billion searches on Google every day. I think if you check my math, but it's like 63,000 a second. Wow. And why should you care? Because exactly what Kevin was talking about, in the last 3 years alone, an increase in 617% of people going online, reading reviews on things like Google, Facebook, to understand who they want to do business with before they ever do business with them.
That's
very nice.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Dave, a question for you. Can you actually control how people see you online?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of what online reputation management is we help you make the best first impression that you can, right? We like to say we allow you to control your first impression, not an algorithm to seek who defines who you are to others. And so it's really about focusing on who you are as an individual, what you stand for. And I say individual, this is also company. When I think one of the big misnomers is brand. Brand isn't just about a company anymore. Brand is also about who you are as an individual and, that personal brand. And honestly, that personal brand is probably as important, if not more important in some areas today than it was before. So controlling the search results of what pops up on Google, what stories people read about you, you know, what people are saying about you, if there's videos, if there's good content that's out there about you, you know, this is all stuff that you can control. And so when people see you online, they're seeing this stuff and they're like, wow, this person's legit. You know, they were in Washington Times, you know, a great article on them. They're a disruptive CEO, things like that. So yeah, you can absolutely control it. You know, and you should really control it.
Dave, there's something that I really love. You know, when we first met, going back in time, like a year ago, year and a half, and one of the things I know Reputation Rhino does is they do an audit. And I've always been content is king, putting in a lot of content. But most people don't realize, I mean, actually searching your name and digging into it to try to see what's all out there.
Yeah.
What you guys are able to do to find all the stuff that you don't want out there, that you don't want people to see. Do you want to talk about what that audit like process looks like for people?
Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up, Brandon. The problem is people know what point B is. Like they have this point B on their in their mind of what they want to be. The problem is sometimes they don't know where point A is, and where point A is makes a big difference on how we get to point B, how fast it is, the chart, the directory, you know, how we're going to get there. So an audit really gives us a good understanding of baseline of where we are today and what needs to happen to get a point B. Sometimes you have to just take a little bit of a step back before you can spring forward. But yeah, the audit is a very powerful thing that we do. And that's whether you're a business. We work with a lot of cities and municipalities and tourism boards, right? It doesn't matter who you are. You need to understand where you currently are and what needs to happen to get you where you want to go. And that's really the power of our audit. It just simplifies that for you. And I think, you know, we worked with some of your other clients, worked with you guys, and that audit is really a powerful thing.
Dave, you mentioned you work with us. Last year, we had an unfortunate incident. I woke up one morning and Kevin O'Leary and myself, two sharks, were on the front page of TMZ with a lawsuit from some group, and it was like, oh my God, what's going on here? And so yes, we needed reputation management. We knew it because we got hit. We were in 2,000 newspapers and publications on a global basis when this hit. But that's easy for me to know I need to do something. But how does somebody else that's an entrepreneur, how would they know whether they need help or not?
Well, I mean, honestly, the first step is free, right? The first thing I would say is reach out to us, talk to one of our professionals, reputationrhino.com, and we're going to assess your situation for you. And there's a good percentage of phone calls where we get on the phone with somebody and say, hey, you don't need us. You're doing a great job, or maybe just do these things. You know, not everybody is a good fit or a good client for ours. But really, it's just the first step, I would say, to figure out if you think you need to talk to somebody, you probably should. And the importance of your brand, especially you mentioned entrepreneurs. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, executive, or you have a brand or a company, guys, the scary thought, we talked about some numbers earlier, 74% of people today have already decided who they're going to do business with based on what they found out about you online before they ever dealt with you, before they ever walked through your front door, before they ever picked up the phone and talked to one of your salespeople. 3/4 of your ability to get a lead now comes from what they're finding or not finding out about you online. So it's pretty safe to say you probably should, invest a little bit in time into figuring out your personal brand or your business brand.
Yeah, I mean, because what's happening is people are reading something and not calling. So you don't know how many people you're missing out on when you're not maintaining a good online reputation, because they're going to see it, and I go right to the next opportunity when I see negative stuff, right? So this is a necessity if you're an entrepreneur. To clean up.
And by the way, not just negative, because you said earlier you could control what how people view you online. Yeah. So if you Google yourself and you are not 100% satisfied with what you see, you think there's missing holes, you think that you want to drop this link lower, or you want to bring attention to this piece of content or this piece of thing that you talk about or you do, whether this is yourself or your brand or your company. That's how you know if you need it. It may not just be negative. It could be, hey, Google's not picking up on this positive thing that I want to talk about. I need to get that higher.
It's a great point, Brian. So let's just use a doctor as an example. We got a stay-at-home mom who wants to figure out what orthodontist to use for her kids. What's she going to do? She's going to get online. She's going to Google. She's going to look at a couple different practices. One doctor, there's nothing out there about him, and then the other doctor, there's article after article, website, all this stuff. Not saying that this doctor's bad. Maybe he's great. But what's the first impression she's going to get? Hey, I want my kid to go with this guy. And, going back to first impressions, we as people, God, we're quick to judge, and we really like our opinions, and we're really hard to change our minds. 68% of us believe our first impressions are accurate. So again, we're quick to judge. So what you instantly see about somebody online, you're already writing the narrative of who they are.
Now, Dave, can you give us a little bit of secrets real quick? I know, we've been through this before. Like what is the process of building your online reputation management? You talk about, the Google, owning Google, the box, your social videos popping up, the articles, your websites, like what does it look like for someone to own their online reputation in the way that they want to?
Yeah, Brian, people buy and do work with people that they know, like, and trust, right? That's really what it comes down to. It's how do you become more visible online, more influential, and more authoritative? And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. People who are just getting started, maybe don't have the budget to invest in that. Brandon T. Adams, follow this guy. Make posts, rise and record, right? Do some video content out there. Content is still king. Video especially. We like the consumer video. But really just getting out there so people can know, like, and trust you. People that are in a little bit different season of their life, maybe they're seasoned executives working for multi-billion-dollar companies or medium-sized businesses. Maybe they need a little bit more help, right? They've got a marketing budget, and that's where you start to get a group like us involved, so you can really stand out from your competition.
Dave, there's a point I want to bring, because I know you've helped some of our portfolio companies before, is you look at companies, and whether we're going to invest in a company and we're going to get behind it, the first thing we're looking at is, okay, who's the CEO? We want to see more details about them. You've actually made it where we've had companies very successful, but nobody really knew who the CEO was. And you came in and created content where the CEO, you search their name and everything comes up, articles and everything. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of that and just maybe some of the strategies?
So let's go a whole different route right now. Talk about your online reputation, people buying, your product or your service or stuff. Let's talk about trying to get employees, right? This workforce is really hard to get top talent these days. And what are they doing? They're searching up the company. They want to know who they're going to work for. They want to feel like they matter to that organization. They want to feel like, hey, who's the CEO, right? They're going to Trustpilot. They're going to these different places online, open door. They want to see who they're going to go work for. And so by not being out there as a CEO, you're limiting that ability for your customer base to get to understand who you really are as an organization and who runs the dang thing. And two, you're really limiting your ability to attract right employees to come to want to work for your company, right? And so if you go, I try, I believe in this. I eat my own dog food, right? If you go out there and look at wanting a career to work with us, I'm all over the thing. There's videos of me throughout the funnel. I talk about my philosophy, what I believe in, our core values. And when people come to apply from us, they're invested and want to work here. I don't have to sell them on what days they get off, their benefits. They believe in the mission, they believe in the leadership, and they believe with the core values behind it. And so, yeah, getting the CEOs out there to be seen a certain way online is crucially important for fundraising, for customer acquisition, for employee acquisition, you name it.
That's cool.
One thing I'll mention, Dave, because we went through this process. So when some negative articles they came out, they're on the first page of Google. So in Google, someone Googles somebody that's got this negative stuff, it's showing up. What Reputation Rhino does is you create all kinds of positive announcements that you put in and plug out into the marketplace, so that now the negative stuff gets pushed down. This is part of that process. Maybe just for folks to understand how some of this works, because it almost sounds magical that, oh, how do I clean up my online reputation? Well, there's a system and a process that you guys have developed.
Yeah, I've got Harry Potter and the crew in the background working for us. So really, people are going to come to us in one of three areas of life, right? We call it the build, protect, repair. Maybe you're a ghost and you don't have anything online about you. That's the build. We're going to build you up. The protect, maybe you have some sort of online reputation. Kevin, that's kind of where you were, right? But you found yourself in what I call the sandcastle effect. It was really pretty, but when a wave comes in, it comes crashing down. So a couple of those articles you were talking about with TMZ, man, they just started dominating the front page of Google on you because all of your reputation, everything you did, there was no barrier of protection around it. And then the last one is that negative stuff. Hey, it happens, right? You got haters. The more successful you get, you're going to have haters, whether they're true stories or not. The problem is if they're online, they're true, whether they are or not. And so that's the repair side of things. That's where we come in and either remove those permanently or suppress them and bury them so far that they're really hard to find. That way we're controlling the narrative. And then we move those people onto the protect phase. So, asking earlier, how do you get started? Well, let's figure out, are you a build client? Do you have a reputation that needs protected? Or is there maybe some negative stuff out there and we can remove it? And that's where that phone call comes in. We'll determine which area of life you're in and the work that we're going to do. And you're right, Kevin, we have a team of professionals. Online reputation management is a combination of a lot of different things. It's PR, it's content management, it's digital marketing, it's SEO, it's legal, right? It's all of these different aspects of these different things combined together, working in unison to really accomplish the goal of making you look your best online.
Nice.
Dave, there's something you said before to me. People, they buy car insurance, they buy health insurance for a future event to protect themselves. And you told me one day, it's like, we need insurance on our brand and reputation. Most people don't think about that. Why aren't we investing money for a future event like Kevin's had or any of us had in a certain time where we're prepared for that and it doesn't affect us? And I just think that's powerful. Most people don't realize you need reputation management in 2023 in this time and age.
Man, what a fantastic point. People live in two scenarios. One, they didn't know they needed it, right? They don't know anything about it. Or two, we live in that, hey, nothing's going to happen. I'm untouchable phase, right? Mm-hmm. Kevin is a great example of somebody who was in this scenario, right? 50 years as a respected entrepreneur, doing all the amazing things that you've done, has almost an untarnished reputation. One thing happens and bam, your partners start questioning, your phone's blowing up endlessly. You've got people wanting to make sure, hey, I'm not sure if I want to do this deal. It's crazy how fast, that can happen, like a light switch, literally overnight. You woke up to it. And yeah, had Kevin known beforehand, right? It wasn't he didn't think he was untouchable. He just didn't know the importance of it. If Kevin knew beforehand, hey, if I already had Reputation Rhino in my corner and had some sort of barrier of protection, and it would have prevented a lot of this, I can unequivocally say he would have done it 10 times out of 10.
Right. So
yeah, it's crazy. When that article came out, I was doing a keynote at a big place. I won't mention names or anything, but they're like, hey, look, we don't want there to be a diversion at our event. You're all over the newspapers right now. Let's we'll put you in for our next event. Let's not do the one that's right there the week that the article came out, right? So things, like you said, here I 50 years as an entrepreneur, one little thing happens and then people start questioning. So and I've got a powerful brand that I built over the years. For those that don't have that kind of power, negativity can affect them even worse.
Oh, absolutely.
So Dave, just want to thank you so much for joining us here today. Really a pleasure going through a lot of this stuff. If anyone wants to reach out to you, understand really the process, how this works, what steps they should take, what's the best place to do that?
Just start at our website, reputationrhino.com. There's a lot of good information on there. There's a lot of free downloadables that can inform you. And then if you're ready to take that next step and ready to talk to an individual, book a free action plan call. Jump on with one of my trained professionals. We're going to look at your situation. We're going to give you actionable advice right there on that call. And if it's something that you want to move forward with, we can send you a proposal. But all it's going to cost you is a little bit of time, and you're going to walk away more educated.
Awesome. You're the man, Dave. Thank you so much.
Awesome, guys.
Good job.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you,